Ladies, let's be real. Few things test our patience more than a man who's playing hard to get. The silence, the mixed signals, the tiny breadcrumbs of attention. It's maddening, isn't it? You find yourself spiraling into a whirlwind of questions. Did I say something wrong? Should I text him again? Is it me? But let me stop you right there, because here's a truth you need to hear. It's not you. It's a game. A calculated one. And you're neither the first nor the last woman to encounter it. But here's the twist. The real issue isn't his behavior, it's how we, as women, tend to respond. Most of us fall into a trap that's been set for generations. Overthinking, overgiving, or worst of all, overchasing. Why? Because society has conditioned us to believe that if a man pulls away, it's somehow our job to win him back, to prove we're worthy of his attention. What a complete myth. Here's a secret that can change everything. The moment you flip the script, the moment you stop chasing and start standing in your power, everything shifts. And no, this isn't about revenge, not in the petty sense. There's no scheming or manipulation here. Instead, it's about reclaiming your dignity, your sense of worth, and embodying the high-value woman who commands respect, not confusion. Today, I'm going to share 7 transformative steps to navigate a man who's playing hard to get. These aren't quick tricks or manipulative tactics, they're rooted in personal growth, confidence, and the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Yes, even dark Stoic psychology has a role here. By the end of this journey, you won't just understand how to handle his behavior, you'll learn how to elevate yourself to a place where his games no longer affect you. When a man pulls back or sends mixed signals, your instinct might be to hyper-focus on him, analyzing his actions, his intentions, his every move. But let me challenge you with this. What if, instead of asking why he's distant, you asked yourself, how can I become so magnetic, so self-assured, that his behavior no longer rattles me? This isn't about distraction. It's about realigning with your true worth. The moment you shift the spotlight inward, you take back control of your story. Think about it. What makes someone truly magnetic? It's not about being available at every beck and call. It's about having a life so full of passion, joy, and fulfillment that others are drawn to your energy. Surround yourself with friends who uplift you. Rekindle the hobbies or passions that make your heart race. Become the woman who doesn't wait for someone to make her life exciting. She creates excitement all on her own. Now, you might be wondering, but if I stop chasing him, won't he just forget about me? My dear, this is where the magic happens. When you focus on yourself, you exude a quiet, unshakable confidence that's impossible to ignore. It's the essence of Stoicism, mastering your own emotions and actions, rather than reacting to someone else's whims. Here's a challenge to kick things off. Write down 3 areas of your life that you've been neglecting because of this situation. Maybe it's your fitness routine, your creative pursuits, or quality time with loved ones. Now, commit to investing in those areas this week, not to catch his attention, but to remind yourself of your brilliance. Remember, the goal isn't to play hard to get in return. It's to elevate yourself to a place where his games lose all power over you. By doing so, you transform not just the dynamic between you and him, but more importantly, your relationship with yourself. Remember, the goal isn't to play hard to get in return. It's to truly elevate yourself to a point where his games no longer hold any power over you. Let's dive into one of the most essential principles: matching his energy without overextending yourself. Trust me, once you master this, everything changes. Let me ask you this. How many times have you found yourself obsessing over every text, emoji, or pause in his response? How often have you spent hours drafting and redrafting a message, trying to strike the perfect balance of cool yet interested? We've all been there, analyzing every tiny detail like a detective piecing together a puzzle. But here's the truth. This habit drains your energy and robs you of your power. Instead of overthinking, focus on reflecting his energy with quiet confidence. This doesn't mean playing games. It means staying grounded in your own self-worth and allowing him to step up if he's truly interested. For instance, if he takes hours to reply to your text, don't spend those hours agonizing over his intentions. Shift your focus. Work on your projects. Hit the gym. Or grab coffee with a friend. By the time he finally replies, you'll be so immersed in your own life that his delay won't even matter. Here's the magic. When you stop overextending, you create a space for him to step into. Men are naturally wired to pursue, but when you're constantly available and overinvested, you deny them that opportunity. Matching his energy isn't about mirroring him out of spite. It's about creating a balanced dynamic where your self-respect sets the tone. This approach isn't just about the relationship. It's about protecting your emotional equilibrium. Overextending leaves you drained, anxious, and often questioning your self-worth. Instead, when you calmly hold your ground, you project strength and mystery, two traits that are irresistibly magnetic. Let's get practical. The next time you feel tempted to overextend, ask yourself this simple question. Am I matching his energy? Or am I overcompensating for his lack of effort? If you realize you're giving too much, take a moment to pause, breathe, and redirect your focus to something that uplifts you. This small shift can change the dynamic in ways you never expected. Here's a challenge for you. For the next week, commit to matching his energy. No more double texting, over-explaining, or staying up late rethinking your every word. Let your actions reflect what he gives you. You'll be surprised by the balance and clarity this approach brings. Not just in your relationship, but in your sense of self. Now, picture this scenario. He's sending mixed signals, making plans one day, canceling the next. You feel like you're standing on shifting sands, unsure of where you stand. It's exhausting, isn't it? Here's the truth. A man can only treat you as inconsistently as you allow him to. That's why boundaries aren't just important. They're essential. Boundaries are about defining your standards and expectations, not controlling his actions. They're a way of saying, this is how I deserve to be treated. The beauty of boundaries is that they don't repel the right man. They attract him. A high-value man respects a woman who knows her worth and isn't afraid to enforce it. For example, if he cancels plans last minute with a flimsy excuse, respond with calm confidence. I understand things come up, but I value my time and would appreciate more notice in the future. This isn't about creating tension. It's about setting a standard for how you expect to be treated. If he continues to disregard your time or dismiss your boundaries, it may be necessary to step back. This isn't about punishing him. It's about prioritizing your peace. Boundaries prevent you from overgiving and overextending, ensuring your energy is invested where it truly matters. Remember, boundaries aren't rigid walls. They're flexible guidelines that adapt to the situation while staying true to your values. They're a way of reclaiming your peace and reinforcing your self-respect. By holding firm to your boundaries, you create an environment where respect and clarity thrive. Boundaries also help create balance. They prevent you from overgiving and overextending, ensuring your energy is invested wisely. Think of them as a way to define how you want to be treated while protecting your peace. They're not barriers to keep people out. They're tools to ensure the relationships in your life are healthy and mutually respectful. The power of boundaries lies in their simplicity. You don't need dramatic confrontations or complicated ultimatums to make your expectations clear. A calm, firm statement is often all it takes. For instance, if someone consistently cancels plans last minute, you might say, I value my time, and I'd appreciate more notice in the future. This isn't about controlling their actions. It's about showing them how you expect to be treated. When you set boundaries, it's not about pushing someone away. It's about inviting the right kind of behavior into your life. A man who values you will respect those boundaries. In fact, a high-value man is drawn to a woman who knows her worth and isn't afraid to uphold her standards. And if he doesn't respect them, that's not someone you want to invest your time or energy in. Now let's talk about the next transformative step. Rewarding effort, not excuses. How many times have you let someone off the hook with a simple apology or a sweet text? Maybe he canceled plans but sounded genuinely sorry. Or he disappeared for a while but came back with a kind message. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many men rely on just enough effort to keep you invested without actually meeting your standards. Here's where stoicism comes into play. Instead of focusing on his words or promises, Focus on his actions. Does his behavior align with what he says? Is he consistently putting in the effort to build the kind of relationship you want? Or is he only showing up when it's convenient? Rewarding effort doesn't mean overpraising every small gesture. It means acknowledging genuine consistency and commitment. Imagine this. He tells you he wants to see you but keeps canceling at the last minute. Instead of brushing it off or making excuses for him, ask yourself, does this align with my expectations? If the answer is no, then it's time to stop rewarding excuses. By doing so, you signal that you won't settle for anything less than what you deserve. When he does follow through, planning a thoughtful date or making a genuine effort to connect, show appreciation. A simple, "I really enjoyed that," lets him know his effort hasn't gone unnoticed. This isn't about playing games. It's about creating a dynamic where positive actions are reinforced. An inconsistency is no longer tolerated. Let's reflect for a moment. Think back to a recent situation where you accepted an excuse instead of recognizing genuine effort. How could you have responded differently? This kind of self-reflection isn't about regret. It's about growth. By learning to align your actions with your values, you create space for relationships that truly uplift you. Now, let's explore one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal: the power of silence. Silence has an undeniable strength. When someone expects a reaction, anger, frustration, or desperation, and instead encounters calm indifference, the dynamic changes entirely. Ignoring his games is not about manipulation. It's about reclaiming your mental and emotional bandwidth. Think about it. Every moment you spend overanalyzing his behavior is a moment you could have invested in yourself. Instead of responding to cryptic messages or vague promises, focus on your own goals and passions. Redirect your energy toward something that fulfills you. By doing so, you communicate a powerful message without saying a word. I'm in control of my happiness, not you. This approach allows you to create space for him to reflect on his behavior. If he's genuinely interested, he'll step up. If he doesn't, it's a blessing in disguise. You're no longer wasting your time on someone who doesn't match your energy or effort. Let's get practical. Start by identifying behaviors that feel like games, mixed signals, inconsistency, or vague promises. Decide how you'll respond or, more importantly, how you won't. For example, if he takes hours to reply to your message, don't rush to respond immediately. If he cancels plans last minute, don't rearrange your schedule to accommodate him. By holding firm, you set the tone for how you expect to be treated. This isn't about pretending to be busy or playing hard to get. It's about genuinely prioritizing yourself. When you focus on personal growth and happiness, you naturally become more magnetic. Confidence, independence, and a sense of purpose are qualities that attract not just him, but the right people into your life. Ignoring his games also frees you to invest in relationships and activities that bring you joy. When you stop seeking validation from someone who isn't giving you their best, you start to recognize your own worth. This shift in perspective isn't just empowering, it's transformative. The key to letting him feel your absence is consistency. It's not enough to pull back for a day or two and then revert to old habits. Maintaining this new dynamic over time is essential. While you're creating that space, focus on building a life that uplifts and inspires you. Surround yourself with people who bring positivity and joy into your world. Dive into activities that bring fulfillment. Whether it's pursuing a creative hobby, advancing your career, or strengthening relationships with loved ones, as you shift your focus inward, you'll begin to notice something powerful. Your perspective changes. The energy you once poured into seeking validation from him gets redirected to enhancing your own life. This process allows you to rediscover your intrinsic value, which doesn't depend on anyone else's attention or approval. Here's a practical exercise to help you implement this shift. Write down 3 things you've been meaning to prioritize, but haven't due to distractions or emotional investment in this situation. It might be something as simple as starting a fitness routine, reading a book you've been putting off, or reconnecting with old friends. Commit to focusing on these areas for the next week, not as a strategy to get his attention, but as a way to remind yourself of your own brilliance and capabilities. Next, we need to talk about the most critical step of all: deciding if he's truly worth your time and energy. Every story has a turning point. A moment of reckoning where the heroine must decide whether to stay and fight or walk away with her head held high. In this situation, that decision rests squarely in your hands. Take an honest look at his behavior. What has he shown you through his actions, not his words, not his potential, but his actual, consistent behavior? Has he respected your boundaries? Has he demonstrated effort to meet you halfway? Or has he left you feeling undervalued, uncertain, and drained? The answers to these questions will reveal whether the connection is worth preserving, or if it's time to move on. Sometimes, walking away isn't about him. It's about what you're saying to yourself. Every time you stay in a situation that doesn't align with your worth, you send yourself a message. This is all I deserve. But when you choose to leave a dynamic that doesn't serve you, you're affirming your self-respect and worth to yourself and to the world. Let's address a common fear. What if I walk away and he doesn't chase me? Here's the truth. If he doesn't pursue you after you've stepped back, he was never truly invested to begin with. And that's not a reflection of your value, it's a reflection of his inability to appreciate it. Your worth isn't determined by someone else's recognition. It exists independently, unwavering and whole. Walking away also creates the opportunity for something better. When you release what isn't working, you make room for connections that align with your values and enrich your life. This isn't about proving a point to him. It's about proving to yourself that you have the strength to prioritize your own happiness and well-being. This step isn't just about leaving. It's about stepping into a new chapter of self-discovery and empowerment. Imagine what life looks like when your energy is fully invested in people and pursuits that genuinely fulfill you. First, stepping away might feel unfamiliar or even uncomfortable, but with time, you'll find clarity, peace, and a renewed sense of purpose. Here's an exercise to help you process this transition. Write a letter to him, expressing everything you want to say, your frustrations, your thoughts, your reasons for stepping back. Pour it all out onto the page. Once you've finished, destroy the letter. This symbolic act reinforces your decision to move forward, freeing yourself from the emotional weight of the situation. Reframe walking away as a beginning, not an ending. This isn't about giving up. It's about choosing yourself. It's about stepping into your role as the author of your story, where you're not just the protagonist but also the hero. By prioritizing your values and self-worth, you set the stage for a life that's fulfilling and aligned with your true self. In the end, deciding whether to stay or walk away is one of the most empowering choices you'll ever make. It's a declaration of your strength and a rediscovery of the immense power you hold. The power to set standards, to demand respect, and to create a life where you are the priority. By walking away from what doesn't align, you make space for what truly does. Letting him feel your absence is all about consistency. This isn't something you do for a day or two and then revert to your old patterns. Instead, it requires you to sustain this shift over time. While creating this space, focus on crafting a life that inspires and energizes you. Invest in friendships that uplift you. Rediscover hobbies that bring you joy. And set goals that align with your passions. As you immerse yourself in your own world, an incredible transformation happens. You begin to realize just how much power you hold. The energy you once channeled into analyzing his actions or seeking his attention gets redirected into personal growth and fulfillment. This process doesn't just strengthen your sense of self, it magnifies your intrinsic value, which is independent of anyone else's recognition. Here's a simple yet powerful exercise. Write down 3 things you've been neglecting, perhaps a creative project, your fitness routine, or spending quality time with loved ones. Commit to prioritizing these areas in the coming week, not as a way to make him notice, but as a declaration of your worth and your focus on what truly matters. Now, let's explore one of the most transformative steps, deciding if he's worth it and, if necessary, walking away. Every story reaches a moment of truth, a point where the heroine must choose between staying and fighting for what might never change or stepping into the freedom of a new beginning. This is that moment. Evaluate his behavior with clarity and honesty. Look beyond his words, charm, or potential, and focus on his consistent actions. Has he respected your boundaries and shown effort to build something meaningful with you? Or has he left you feeling uncertain, undervalued, and emotionally drained? The answers will guide you. Walking away isn't about punishing him. It's about affirming your own value. Every time you stay in a situation that doesn't honor your worth, you send yourself a message: this is all I deserve. But every time you choose to leave behind what no longer aligns with your standards, you reclaim your power and reinforce your self-respect. One of the most common fears women face is, what if I walk away and he doesn't chase me? The truth is, if he doesn't pursue you after you've stepped back, he was never truly invested. And that's not a reflection of your value, it's a reflection of his inability to appreciate it. Your worth isn't tied to someone else's actions or perceptions. It exists independently, strong and unshaken. Walking away also creates space for something better. When you let go of what isn't working, you open yourself up to connections that are aligned with your values and deserving of your energy. This isn't about proving a point to him. It's about proving to yourself that your happiness and peace are worth protecting. This step isn't just an ending, it's a beginning. It's the start of a chapter where you are the author of your story, fully in control of your narrative. Imagine stepping into a version of yourself that prioritizes self-worth, growth, and joy. First, it might feel unfamiliar, but over time, you'll find clarity, peace, and a renewed sense of purpose. Here's a helpful exercise for this transition. Write a letter to him, pouring out your thoughts, frustrations, and reasons for stepping back. Once you've written it, destroy the letter as a symbolic act of letting go. This helps you release the emotional weight of the situation and reinforces your decision to move forward. Every journey toward self-worth has a moment of reckoning, a point where you must decide if holding on is worth the emotional cost, or if it's time to release what no longer serves you. This is the final and most transformative step, deciding whether he's truly worth your time or if it's time to walk away. Start with a simple yet brutally honest evaluation. What has he shown you through his actions? Not his words, not his charm, and certainly not his potential, just his consistent behavior. Has he made the effort to meet you halfway, respected your boundaries, and prioritized the connection? Or has he left you feeling undervalued, unsure, and emotionally drained? The answers will guide you. Sometimes, the hardest part isn't letting go of him. It's letting go of the hope that he'll change. But holding on to hope without evidence of genuine effort only prolongs your disappointment. Remember, hope is not a strategy. It's action, respect, and consistency that build a meaningful connection. And anything less isn't worthy of your energy. Let's face a common fear head-on. What if I walk away and he doesn't come after me? Here's the truth. If he doesn't chase you, he was never truly invested. And that's not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of his limitations. Your worth doesn't depend on his acknowledgement. It's intrinsic, unwavering, and entirely yours. Walking away isn't about proving a point to him. It's about proving a point to yourself. Every time you choose to stay in a situation that doesn't align with your values, you're reinforcing a narrative that you don't deserve better. But each time you choose to walk away from what no longer serves you, you declare to yourself and the world, I am worthy of more. The beauty of letting go is that it creates space for something new, something better. By releasing what isn't working, you open the door to connections and opportunities that uplift and empower you. This isn't just about relationships. It's about every aspect of your life. When you let go of what weighs you down, you free yourself to soar. Here's a practical exercise to help solidify your decision. Write a letter, not to him, but to yourself. In this letter, acknowledge your worth, list the reasons you're walking away, and outline the life you want to create moving forward. Then keep this letter as a reminder of your strength and commitment to yourself. Reframe walking away as an act of empowerment, not defeat. It's not about giving up. It's about stepping into a brighter, more fulfilling chapter of your life. It's about choosing peace, growth, and authenticity over chaos, uncertainty, and compromise. As you embrace this new chapter, envision the life you want to build. Picture yourself thriving, surrounded by people and opportunities that reflect your values and worth. you'll find that this decision isn't just a turning point. It's the foundation for a life rooted in confidence, joy, and purpose. Remember, this isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new one where you are the author, the hero, and the star. By choosing yourself, you set the tone for everything that follows. You create a life where respect, effort, and mutual care are non-negotiable standards. So ask yourself, is he worth it? If the answer is no, walk away with your head held high, knowing that you are stepping into a future filled with endless possibilities. The decision is yours, and it's one of the most powerful you'll ever make. Reframe walking away not as giving up, but as stepping into your power. It's about choosing yourself and setting the tone for the life you want to lead. By prioritizing your values and refusing to settle, you pave the way for relationships and opportunities that align with your authentic self. In the end, the decision to stay or walk away is one of the most empowering choices you'll ever make. It's a chance to rediscover your immense strength, the strength to set boundaries, demand respect, and create a life where you are the priority. By walking away from what doesn't serve you, you're making room for what truly does.